Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. We've got some new names. I see Heidi's on and Janelle. Welcome. Good morning, Adrian, Jennifer, Shanae, Yvette's here. Good group this morning. Love it. And this is going to be a good one. So, as we've been talking about, we kind of changed it up. What we were doing exclusive classes, but you guys were so helpful to me. Instead of me making up something once a month that was new and impressive for you guys to learn from me, or just to learn, go deeper with together, we made some rotating topics for each quarter. So week 4, let's talk about it. We kind of alternate. Week 1's a 30-minute meeting, just checking in with our wins and focuses. Week 2 is your best year mastermind. That's an hour meeting. Week 3, accountability check-in, is a 30-minute meeting. And then the last week is an hour meeting, just so that you guys can kind of plan accordingly. Use that second half hour on those shorter weeks to actually maybe knock out some note cards or something like that. Use it as a power half hour. But this week is let's talk about it. We decided on these 3 topics as a group, and we're going to rotate them each quarter. So it's all about just bringing ideas to the group. I think that's one thing that everybody really enjoys, is hearing how everybody else is doing different things successfully, right? So different parties or different, what do I write in my note cards or whatever it might be, or if you have questions about it, or if you have a struggle in a certain area, we can kind of just talk it out there. So we're all bringing ideas to the table and really collaborating. The first month of the quarter, which is this month, we're going to be doing working-by-referral strategies. Second month of the quarter, calls, notes, and pop buys, those thoughtful touches. So sharing ideas with your pop buys, what to write in notes, reasons to call, different things to kind of keep it interesting. And then the third month of the quarter, we'll be doing, I called it Buzz and Your Community, but it's really to kind of different ways. And we have a lot of people that do a lot of successful parties, and we always want to hear more about those. Like, how do you set up a first party? What makes it, what do you have to do, the work behind it, different ideas like that, different maybe venues. So I'm excited to be able to do this with you guys and have kind of a focused thing for the rest of the year. So go ahead. If you guys have been doing great at just speaking up and, turning yourselves off of mute. I think we're all like really into the Zoom thing now, right? We get it. Sometimes we talk over each other, but that's okay. I always try to go back to someone that may have gotten, spoke up and then, things happen. So I always try to make sure everyone can talk. But if you just don't like hitting that unmute button and maybe you have some dogs barking in the background or kids crying or something like that, I totally understand. And that's what the mentees slides are for. You can scan that QR code with your phone. I think I worked out all the kinks that were happening last time. But you can scan that QR code so you can kind of engage on your phone, but still watch the screen, or you can open it up in a new screen. And then the first slide is just, checking in who's here this week, sign in your name. You can also go to menti.com and use that code. I'm going to copy that link into the chat for those of you that are new. And again, this is just another way for me to track who showed up, and then also for you guys to engage a different way. So feel free to share however you'd like. So real quick check-in, because every single week we're going to do this check-in as well, because we want, someone says 7, I'm loving it. 7's good. And usually that first number is the number that is most accurate. So we say, how would you rank your week last week, scale of 1 to 10? And it's a little mental check-in. The good thing about Menti, it's anonymous. So you don't have to put your name if you don't want to. But usually in your own mind, you can really check in and a number pops up pretty quickly. And it's probably the most accurate and most honest with yourself of how you really feel like you did. And it's not to make you feel bad. It's truly just to have that moment to check in with yourself and see where you can get better. I'm going to pull up Canva as well. We said at every single meeting at the beginning, before we get into discussion, 5, I was on the beach. Okay. And I like you still gave yourself a 5. It was a great week, right? We're always going to check in with ourselves because we said we wanted this group to mostly we wanted the accountability to be big in here, right? And so this is our way of just kind of keeping that accountability alive, holding yourself accountable, but not too much pressure. And you guys also remember, if you are a regular here, the Canva link that we updated last week, everyone kind of helped me get this organized as well to kind of go through and see those numbers even more. And if you guys are new to the group, don't worry. You guys can jump in and do this, but if this is kind of scary to you and it's taking a second, because Zoom streaming, if it's kind of a little too much for you, don't worry, but we have been tracking a lot of information for the last 2 years. And so we're finally getting into the groove of how to do that best. And this is, again, our way of kind of seeing our numbers and remembering to track them. And so we'll kind of use this, and you can update it every single week. So you can kind of do a running total and everybody has January through June, and then July through December. And this is where we'll keep our wins and everything. You can kind of see there's a space for you to type in your wins and your focus for this month. And then you can keep a running total of your intentional conversation, handwritten notes, pop buys. And we really go into this on that accountability week. And I also, for everyone, I know we were having problems typing in that number last time, and I think it was because my box was so small. So I actually went through everybody's and I fixed the boxes so they're bigger. So you're welcome. And so this is just one way to, again, stay accountable. This is for you guys. This is not for me. I do not care what you do. I'm always happy when I see good numbers like this. And for those of you that are a little competitive, we can definitely make this fun. Jennifer already accomplished her the challenge for the month was 60 note cards. And last week she told us she had already done her 60 note cards. So she got a little note in the mail with her Sonic gift card and a golden star for being a good student. I'm totally joking. You guys are not my students. So that's just one way we can have a little bit of fun with it there. So if you want a page, let me know. You can duplicate this top page, just edit your own page. This little link is very special because everyone can edit it. So you can duplicate these 2 first pages and make your own. I may move it around so that they're in alphabetical order. If you press that little the little slides down there, you can see it all and find your name. So most of you are in here, but if you do need, if you want a page to track, just let me know. There's also one that you can just do on your own as a template. So this one is also just the 2 pages. It's a template that you can save in your own Canva for yourself. So if you don't want to be part of our group thing. Sorry, everything's going so slow. I was going to pull up goals this week because I wanted to show you in the email. I sent it to Rachel this morning. In the email, there's the links in. There's the links in here for the Canva each week. So I want you guys to know where to click. So this is for Mentimeter. You don't have to do that till you get here. But down here, Canva link to edit for our goals regular. So this is the one we can edit, submit tracker. So if you're ever not on the meeting and you still want to keep up with it, it's going to always be in the weekly email. And then down here, if you just want the PDF to print out, you can print it out. Or if you want the Canva template to work on your own, you can click that. So those are the links. I know not everybody looks at the weekly emails, but I wanted you to know that is in there. They are truly just reminder emails at this point. So don't worry if you don't look at them, you're not hurting my feelings. But there are some helpful links in there if you need them. All right, that's enough of that. Questions, anything on all that stuff before we get started? We've got a great group here today. No questions because you guys are all pros. Love it. Did we already scare some people away? No, we didn't. Janelle's still here. Thank goodness.
Okay. It's Shanae. So, I got a question. Let me just double check. So we're doing stuff in Menti and in Canva, correct?
We did that. So just to track our action, because we were getting some whenever we said, what's your focus or what's your action, goals or whatever, it was kind of all over the place. And so that's to get us back to the numbers of it and especially when we review it, that accountability week to kind of look at your numbers is a chance. And then when we look at it at the end of the quarter, that will be helpful.
Okay. So both.
Yeah. Menti's more just to engage during class.
Gotcha.
Okay. So working by referral strategies. And what we meant by this was really just the different ways to ask for business, asking for referrals, asking for business, ways to say it. So this isn't a scripting or dialogue class, but it can be because it helps us to hear ways that worked, right? To say something and we can kind of make it our own. But just hearing it out loud sometimes is helpful. So we all know that we need to ask for the business. But sometimes we feel salesy, right? And we don't want to feel salesy. We don't want to be that person in the group that's always talking about real estate, even though how do we not? It's our life. And then just really making it go from someone that you've just been connecting with and touching and loving on to someone that thinks of you for real estate, right? We don't like it when they pick your brains and then they use somebody else. That sucks. We don't like it when they know you're a realtor, but then maybe they thought you were busy, right? Sometimes when we act like we're so busy all the time, it can make some people think we're too busy to work with them. And so there's all those different things to think about when asking for the business and just really trying to stay top of mind. So that's kind of what this topic's all about. Kind of thoughts or success stories that kind of stick out in your mind when you are working by referral that you're like, I didn't think of that. There's always, and I'll kind of share a story while your brains are working to kind of show the importance. And there's just like those little moments that you can bring it up. And so I love hearing those. We had somebody that was in goals when we were doing it in person and this was Pathway to Mastery. And she shared, working by referral was new to her. We all know about working by referral or working by word of mouth, but when you actually start doing the steps and really bring it to your top of mind, you are more purposeful, right? And so she was doing Pathway to Mastery and she was like, driving her client around to show her houses, and because it was an older woman and she wanted to be driven. Love it. And so she was just talking to her, and she was talking about how she built her business by referral. And this lady was like, oh, you work by referral? You want a referral? Oh, my granddaughter needs to buy a home. And so it's almost one of those things, unless you really say it out loud, that yes, I work by referral. I'm trying to build my business 100% by referral. And that looks, and then explaining sometimes what that looks like. That's, thinking of me, if anybody asks you about real estate, or if anybody mentions real estate, I want you to think of me, because they might not have somebody, and showing them and explaining to them what that looks like is really important. But that story stuck with me, because it just shows that you could be serving someone, a client, and they don't even connect the dots that you want to serve everybody they know, right? Not just them. You want to serve their kids and their grandkids and their neighbors and their friends. And so that story already stuck out to me, because she had to say it out loud for this client to know that. And then boom, she connected her with her, somebody else that needed to buy. So any stories like that we can kind of start off with, or any questions that you guys can think of?
I do. Actually, yesterday, I have a client, my roofer, who I'm using as well. And I referred him over to a client, and she did not get her insurance did not approve a roof replacement. And he'd gone over there twice, and she was like, oh, I really want to pay him for, what he's done. And I said, explaining that's part of his business. That's what we do. And, I said, don't worry about it. I said, but you know what, if you know of anybody, definitely, refer him as a roofer, because you've liked his customer service. And I kind of went into, that's kind of how realtors are. And she was like, oh yeah, I totally get that. And so that went in when the roofer was at my house yesterday. We were talking, and he was like, oh, Joanne keeps wanting to pay me, and I keep telling her no. And I was explaining about the referral thing and what I told her. And he was like, oh, thank you. You said it better. I was trying to convey that, but you said it better than I did. He went in then to start talking about his wife wanting to get in real estate. And I think she's going to come and do one of our, we have monthly where at KW, where you sit down and you kind of sponsor them as a realtor. So it wasn't necessarily a referral as a client, but it turned into someone coming to KW to talk about it. But that whole thing stemmed from the referral from the roofer to my client, and then back again. And I thought, well, that went full circle. So it was kind of cool.
No, and those are those little things, guys, that sometimes they can just pass by, right? Because we're so busy. But when you really take the moment to appreciate it and to recognize how that all got connected, I think that's so good. It's, it's a little bit of gratitude. It makes you feel good. But it really does show you, just by articulating just explaining how working by referral works, it kind of goes full circle, and you never know who you can end up helping. So that's a great story. Anyone else?
I have something. I was taught somewhere along the way that you should ask for referrals throughout the process when you're working with clients. And a lot of people like to ask for a review at the closing table. But I find that people have the best intentions, but they're so overwhelmed at that point, and they're excited, and that is the last thing on their mind. And they may not have internet set up yet, all those things. So I like to use it as a touch about a week or two later, once they've had some time to get established, and reach out to them again by phone first and say, we had such a great experience working together. Could you do this for me? Is there anybody else who I could help? And then follow up with the same thing in an email with very easy to find links. And I think I've only had one person not follow through with the review at that point. And he didn't do his paperwork during the transaction either, so that was to be expected. But most people really are eager to do that, and that gives them some time to think through. We had a really good transaction start to close, and yeah, I do have somebody.
Yeah. And when do you do that? When did you do that?
I do it a week or two after.
Okay, a week or two.
I like to make sure they're in their house, so they've seen the result of it, and they have all their utilities set up, and that way they can just hop on the computer and send those reviews.
Yeah, no, I think that's I've heard, 2 weeks after, if you're really good at your process, Because that makes someone like me that's a little all over the place, a little nervous, because I'm like, what if I don't remember in 2 weeks, you know? But if you have a good process, that's amazing following up, because I think that is true. At the closing table sometimes, especially different personality types, you know, a high expressive person would be like, oh my God, okay, blah, 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 I'll do it right now. And they're okay being put on the spot. A lot of other people are like, don't put me on the spot right now. I just had to sign like all these papers. I don't want to do a review. Or they're just, and then afterward, they're not looking at their email because they're moving into their home or they're moving out of their home. So I think that's so smart. And I think just along the way, you know, like you said, throughout the process, even while it's really quiet, while the loan is getting approved, you know, and they're kind of like twiddling their thumbs, like, are we ready yet? Are we ready yet? That's another good time to like send them a review, because most of the work has happened there from on your part. It's just finishing up, you know, tying a bow on the closing process. So I think that's a really good, a good one too. And how do you, just real fast, so because that could go into something else, how do you, what kind of survey do you use, Adrienne?
Mine's not a survey. It's just, you know, a Google review, Facebook review, and Zillow. I have those 3 links, and I say you can use the same review that you write up on all 3, just copy and paste. But, and you know, if they had a good experience, of course, I want to.
So you send them the 3 links in an email or a text message?
Yep, it's an email, and I see that Karen asked for it. I will look that up and copy and paste the wording into the chat.
Love that. Good strategy. So asking for a survey, client feedback after. I'm going to write this in there. So
I tailor the first part of it. You'll see what I'm talking about, but I tailor it to the situation, whether it was a buy and sell, relocation, you know, you make it personalized.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Love that. Love that. Who else? And I like to save these. Where's submit? Why are these not showing up? Oh, there we go. I like to keep track of these because sometimes we forget the ideas that we talk about. I'm going to put Leslie's too. Okay, so somebody else. That's a great example of having your process down well enough to remember to ask for the referral. That quote, preparation. Hold on. Let me just pull it down because I have it right here. When opportunity knocks, it's too late to prepare, right? So you've got to be prepared, by John Wooden, which I think is a sports, is that a sports guy, John Wooden? Basketball.
He was a basketball coach for NCAA. He was the winningest basketball coach of all time up until the Duke coach. So, yeah.
I mean, hello, Pierre. Who are you? You just kind of surprised. I mean, a man's voice just popped up, and usually this group's all women. And then I was like, whoa, I don't know a Pierre. Do we know each other? I know one Pierre.
Probably not, Gina. I've worked with Pam Terrell, and I know Holly, and I signed up for y'all's webinar, so I'm kind of late to the party. So
no, welcome. This is one that happens weekly, so you just kind of got to jump in, and I can talk to you afterwards if you're way lost. So I appreciate you being here now to help us with our sports facts and other things, because that's not my strong suit. So anyways, I love that quote because it really reminds you how important sometimes we don't want to stop and slow down to prepare and have our presentations ready and have our surveys ready. But that's when we are prepared with those things, then it's easier to ask for the referral, right? Because you have that place to send them, or you have that right there in front of them. It's like build and they will come. You can't get people to come to something that you don't have prepared yet. So I think that's really good. And it shows that there's a lot more than just asking for feedback. You got to have your ducks in a row, right? Another success story. I'm loving these because Leslie. You can raise your hand. You can do it in Menti. I'm putting people's shares in Menti so we can remember them sharing. There's got to be another one.
Well, okay. So, you know, last year I spent time doing the buyer and listing presentation and getting that all down. So now at the end of my buyer's consultation, I actually ask for like a review of the process.
Mhm.
And I have a form filled out, like on a scale of, hey, this was horrible, or this was exactly what I needed. Where did this fall? And what did you learn today? So that's been good to get that feedback on that. And I kind of fall down on the, hey, at the end of it, when it's all over, asking for the review. So this is a good reminder for me. So.
I love that. And I think that's also, I love that you mentioned just like, instead of feedback, because sometimes that's broad, it's almost on an audit. And the new build instructors call it, do a class audit, which I thought was great. I haven't looked at their class audit, but I think that's another term that we can use and just say, hey, would you mind auditing the process, my process? Because it really shows my future clients what I do well, right? And it helps me know how to get better. So I kind of like that word. I liked that word audit when they were asking for feedback from a class, and we could use it the same way in your transaction. So good share, Shanae.
I have done a form. You helped me with it for surveys. I don't know if I put to ask for referrals on it. I'll have to go back and review it. But what I have heard from other agents in other classes, like in Bold, is like one person says like she remembers to ask all through the process.
Mm-hmm.
So at every step, if they're in the car, she was reminding them to, hey, remember I work by referral. And Gina, I think you've said this, like, so I can spend more time with you. Maybe you put it in your listing presentation.
Mm-hmm.
So I can spend more time with you. I try to work by referral, or I should take out the word try.
I really try hard, but
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Sometimes I'm good at trying, sometimes I'm not.
So anyway, but they just say it like over and over and over again. And I've been trying to incorporate that. Like even I had a client event on Thursday, and I am working it, even in some marketing that I'm going to do on Facebook from it. I'm going to put about asking for referrals in that.
Mm-hmm. I love that, Karen. And sometimes, asking for a referral is a little bit less salesy to me. Well, kind of than asking that question when you kind of get into real estate and they say, ask everybody, do you need to buy or sell? Do you need to buy or sell? Do you need to buy or sell? And that's kind of what I heard a lot when I got into real estate, right? I mean, anybody else kind of hear that? So it's a little bit of a different approach when you, instead of focusing on finding that next buyer or seller, just asking everybody for a referral and explaining the way you work. So I think that's really good.
Can I talk through something, an idea?
Yes.
I was thinking about, as a touch point, maybe an email, saying something like this attention grabbing headline of, I don't actually need to sell your house, or it's okay if you don't have a house for me to sell. And then in the body of it saying something along the lines of, I really want to work with the people who mean the most to you. I just haven't figured out the wording yet.
I like that kind of, and that reminded me of something else. Oh, I've got to write down things or we're going to forget them in our brains. I think that's a great email. It's a little bit too, you could kind of work it into when we talk about sending out those letters of I have a buyer. So you're focusing on not serving them, or trying to get them as a client. You're trying to serve your buyer or serve somebody else by trying to find them a property, right? And you're trying to ask all the sellers, do you need to sell? Not for that to get them as a client, but to serve your buyer. But same thing, I like where your brain's at on that is, you don't really want to say, I don't want to help you though. So that's the beautiful part.
Yeah, I didn't like the first way I said it. The second is probably more of the way I was going. But my intention is, I have a lot of well-meaning Spear members, but they're just like, oh, I don't have anything, but I'll keep an ear out. That kind of deal. Like I want to train them to think, oh, well, it's not necessarily about me. It's about all the people I'm connected to. Like that's who she wants to connect with.
Yeah, I like the phrase, you've heard me say it before, like think of me, because that's really what it is. It's like there's very few people when you work by referral, it's not instant gratification, like maybe a sign call or door knocking or something like that. It's not instant gratification, but it's reminding people when they hear anything about real estate to think of you. So it's think of me, think of me, think of me. If anybody brings up anything, and just throwing out those little examples, you know, like if anyone's curious about how much their house is worth, if anybody is curious about a certain area that they want me to research more about. And that also just kind of shows, you know, really how you work as a realtor, because I think that's more important than anything right now. Is not all real estate agents are made equal, right? And we are proving that right now, when some are shining and thriving and others are struggling, right? Because it doesn't take much to shine above the rest, but you've got to be that thoughtful agent. And so many people don't even know that that's out there. They're like, well, my agent never did that for me, or I didn't even know this is something an agent would do for someone, right? Those are success stories too. So even when you're dropping off your pop-bys, saying, you know, if you refer me someone, they'll get a pop-by too. Or if you at your client party, hey, if you guys refer me people, those people, your friends, will be at our client appreciation or our community events, and really showing them why you're doing these pop-bys and parties. It's so that you can serve those clients like you get to serve them, right? It's not just because they're your friend or whatever. But yeah, we can think more about that. The other thing that reminded me of, remember when we talked about when your friends don't think to use you, or they pick someone else, or maybe they interview 3 people. And we said, let me treat you like a stranger. If you are thinking about buying or selling, let me treat you like a stranger, and let me test out my buying or selling presentation on you. Because, and explaining to them, not everyone does the same thing. Not everyone offers the same services. And I want to show you, I know you and me have known each other for 20 years, but I've never helped you buy a house, and we've never worked together in this, you know, with my realtor hat on. And so let me treat you like a stranger, and let me show you what I do for my clients from start to finish. So can I come over and just sit down with you at your kitchen table and go over how I work as a realtor? Damn, we need that recorded and written down, because I said that good. Sometimes it comes out good, right? And you're like, oh, awesome. I'm like, oh gosh, that was really good. How do I say that again when I need to say it? You know?
That was really good.
Thank you, Pierre. So those are those things that, you know, that's preparing. Having that mentally in your brain to say is being prepared for the opportunity. So, you know, every month, and we might do this as a challenge next month, is maybe our challenge in August is to say that to everybody that we've known for more than, you know, that feels really close, is you're going to tell all of them, whether they need to buy or not, hey, when the time comes, this market is crazy right now. It's moving quickly. And I don't know if I've told you before, but I want to work with you. So please, if you're thinking about buying or selling, let me treat you like a stranger. I promise I'll be nice. I'll be on my best behavior, but I want to show you what I do from start to finish at a presentation, because not everyone works the same. And just because we've known each other for so long, I don't want to miss the opportunity to serve you just because you don't really know how I work. And also I need to test out my new marketing strip, my new presentation on someone, and who's better than a friend, right?
Oh, I'm unmuted. Sorry, guys. So I was going to say that one way that we got reviews this earlier in the year was we just said, hey, we want your help improving our online presence. And one way you can do that is by leaving us a review. So if you wouldn't mind, take a minute, and then we put the link in there to our Google business page. And we actually got probably 5 or 6 people that actually immediately yes, and then started a conversation, you know, from there. So
instead of saying, hey, will you go do a Facebook review or whatever, you're improving your online presence. I'm putting those ideas on there that we just all said. There they are. That kind of all blurred together. But I did the idea of an email maybe with, I don't want to work with you. I shortened it. And then the idea, let me treat you like a stranger, idea, improving online presence. So again, this is all about like, we're good at spinning things, right? Spinning things in a different way where it's not the same thing people are hearing all the time. And everybody can relate to you wanting to improve your online presence, right? As a business owner, they're like, oh yeah, those dang algorithms, and they want to help you do that. So I think that's a great way to present it.
Right, because you're not asking them for anything but their help. You're asking them for their assistance. You're not trying to sell them something.
Correct. I love that. Any other thoughts that have come to you guys while we're talking about all this? Thoughts, ideas? I think these are great. Somebody in here wrote, I've heard someone use the language, now that you've bought a home, who will replace you as my client? That's almost like a riddle. I like it because it makes them think, but some people don't really like thinking on the spot, but I like that wording. Who will replace you as my client? And then crickets. Just joking. Putting people on the spot, to me, like, that's one of the things I'm like, nobody likes it. Very few people like it. I do, actually. I love being challenged on the spot. I'm like, bring it. But when you ask like for a name, it's like your brain goes blank, sometimes. But that's a different way of saying it.
One of the things that made me think when Adrian came up with the idea, think of me, couldn't we do like quarterly, just a think of me note card or think of me email?
Oh yeah.
And just make it really sweet and simple. Like if I don't know how you can say it, but even like, how you put the stickers on your note cards that you send, the little circular stickers, you could add that. Think of me.
Make some.
Huh?
Did I make some?
Yeah, actually, my daughter makes a bunch of circle stickers for me to put on.
Yeah, but I love it because what you said though is because we all have these great ideas and these things that we know are good, but what you said was quarterly. And I think that's the important part, picking something, because there's lots of ideas, guys, and we're sharing a lot of ideas. If you pick one of these ideas and do it consistently, that's a win. So whether it's the email idea that Adrian said, or calling all your people and saying, let me treat you like a stranger, or asking for the reviews, you've got to pick one of these and do it regularly. And so I think that is the main key here, because we get overwhelmed and there's too many. We do them here a little, here a little, here a little, but we don't do anything long-term. And you've got to do some of these things regularly, because after the third time, then people kind of expect it. And they're like, oh, wow, that wasn't just a once a time thing. They're actually doing this like people love consistency, and it makes them trust you. So I think putting it on your calendar quarterly, maybe the last month of the quarter, we push doing a think of me note card where you write it really big, you print out stickers really big, and it's all about, hey, if you ever know of anybody, just think of me, right?
Gina?
Yes.
You know what I think of whenever we're talking about this? You remember that little Canva put together deal that you did for like a buyer consultation recap? Like, hey, these are the things we talked about, and like you put the dogs in there and everything else?
Yes. I was actually going to pull this up, but I didn't want us to get too derailed because I know some of you have seen this so many times. But yeah, keep going with that. What was the idea? I'm going to pull it up.
So the idea with that was on the think of me part is, hey, so if we're going to do it quarterly, going into summer, let's put your HVAC people on there. Hey, think of me when you think of summer, because you're going to need your HVAC. Well, do you need a referral? Think of me when you need a referral. Think of me when you need a roofer. Think of me when you need a plumber.
I mean, guys, that's what I've been doing all along with all this marketing. So remember, these are in that PowerPoint presentation too, so that you are constantly showing them your different summer, fall, winter connections, and people love people that promote other people. So you don't necessarily have to ask for the business for yourself, but you sharing this regularly will allow people to think of you when you need the real estate agent. And that's the whole idea, like the whole your referral connection. You're that go-to person, right? You're the one that everybody needs to think of. And so these are in there. And for those of you that are new, I'll share this with you. But I wanted the visual of what they were talking about. And because this was the little proposal that she was mentioning, after you go on an appointment, taking all that information and putting it in a way that they remember. But I really wanted to show you, because I think this has a lot of verbiage as well. These were the buyer questionnaires, and the idea of really explaining, starting with what people are concerned with. I mean, I bet some of you could have some good example stories of something that was so little that you're like, man, if I had known that from the beginning of this process, I could have helped better, you know? And it's like, I didn't even think to ask, are they scared about their lack of knowledge of the loan process? Are they scared of agreeing with their spouse? Are they scared of the feature, finding a home that they really love, or the location, the time commitment of buying a home? So asking at the very beginning all the concerns and hesitations they have. It sounds negative, but we listened to a podcast that said people are drawn to the drama of things. So people actually like talking about the worst case scenario. So starting with that sounds negative, but really when you're doing this to gather information, it's not. So starting with what are their concerns, because then you can focus on those more, right? And then going into check all the expectations, services, and value. So instead of maybe, and this to me makes a lot of sense with, instead of telling them what you do that's so great, asking them. Because really, you can do it all, right? You can meet anyone's expectations if you know it, and you can be proactive communication. You can tell them about the bound, all these different things you can do. But let's find out what their most important things are, right? So that you can really shine in those areas. And then, like Shanae said, I love afterwards satisfaction. Asking them to check everything that you met their expectations, right? Asking them what's their 3 favorite parts of the process, and strike through your least favorite parts of the process. And that will again help you. That's helping you get better, right? Okay, tell me more about why you didn't like the title process. Tell me more about why you didn't like the option period. It really helps you dig deeper in what their thoughts are. And I pulled too, what did you consider when choosing an agent is also helpful to know. And then you take that information and you can go tell your social media that, most of my clients choose an agent that has local knowledge. And that's something I pride myself on, is knowing the area. And if I don't know the area, I dive in and I learn all I can about that area for my clients. I mean,
can I say something about that?
Yeah.
I've actually used the seller satisfaction and the buyer satisfaction every time for the last 5 closings I've had.
Uh-huh.
And because they're kind of filling out for the lender their little thing, they don't mind taking that piece of paper and just check marking it. And so I've gotten great responses from that. Now, what I've done with them, I need to put them on social media. I haven't done anything, but I do have the data.
Hey, that is half the battle. If you have the data, you can do something with it at any time, okay?
And but they don't mind filling it out. And then it gives us also different things to talk about as we are sitting there waiting for them to come back.
And then it might remind them of something. And that's like what I said at the beginning. People don't like being put on the spot because your brain goes blank. But if you give them a list of things that we all know, right? Agent performance rating. Was I timely? Was I clear? Was I accessible? Was I respectful? Those are very basic things that they can check the box, right? And they're not too put on the spot. And then there is a spot, if they did want to say, oh my God, you were awesome at that. There is a spot on here they could write a testimony.
I think though that I need to add, because even like you already did add, but on mine, I don't have your testimonial here. For some reason, mine doesn't go there. So I've had to say, hey, if you don't mind, write on that, because
Yeah, or
it
even
doesn't
like,
give them an instruction. So I just need to,
or
write
Debbie, just
that in on
put
mine.
those papers back through the printer and put a testimony here on the back. You know, if it's
Yeah.
and this is what Karen was talking about, this little statement. And this is, you know, if this was in your buyer or seller packet, you know, this is to explain, to remind you to take the moment to remind people how you work, right? So most agents spend the majority of their time and resources prospecting new business with things like cold calling, door knocking, advertising. I devote myself to serving the needs of my clients. All I ask is while I work with you and long after the transaction's over, I would love you to refer me to people like yourself who are needing the type of services I provide and would appreciate the same level of his attention. As long as you and my other clients keep referring me, I don't have to go out and prospect like everyone else, and I can do even a better job when working with you. So take pieces of that, make it your own. Say it monthly in a post, whatever you have to do to really remind people of that. Okay, that's enough of all those, but I will share those for those of you that are new to the group. Other ideas. This is, I like this. I hope you guys do.
Yeah, it's fabulous. The think of me, I think like you could create like what is going to be even in my note card every quarter for think of me. And the other thing that I thought of is
what do you mean by that? Think of me.
Like, so one quarter, it could be think of me when you need a
vendor,
or think so. And then one quarter could really focus on think of me when you hear somebody, when, you know, somebody that's important to you, or however you want to word it. That's not my gift, probably. Is when you hear your friends or family talking about real estate, I would love to help them. And or if you like the things I do for you, like the pop buys or the client events, that if you would like to share that with your, you know, friends or family, think of me. But, and then, so I'm just thinking that I do good with themes. So if 1 month a theme is think of me when you need a vendor, the next month is think of me when you see somebody that, or hear somebody that's thinking of buying or selling.
Mm-hmm.
A third one could be think of me when.
Yeah, no, we get it. Yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
I think that's fun. I think, what if we did August? Let's ask our sphere. This is helpful for me, so I don't have to come up with ideas. But for our challenges, I don't think we came up for a challenge for next month. What if in August we did let me treat you like a stranger and do as many people as we can. The challenge can be do as many people as you can. And when you actually talk to somebody and get them to respond back, that counts as one. And we can see how many we can do. And then September, Karen, we could do a think of me, you know, blitz kind of thing. The challenges, these are things we know we should be doing all the time, but we all talk about a challenge is kind of fun to really focus on something, and it kind of gets you in the habit of saying it. So August will be, let me treat you like a stranger. September will be, think of me. For your fall vendors, I mean, think of all the fall vendors, right? Fall and winter vendors. And another thing that when Leslie was talking about her roofer, and we've touched on this before, because I think this is another missed opportunity that I want to mention, is the vendors, guys. You guys have vendor list, right? You guys refer people that are in your brain all the time, right? You want to be that connector, but qualify your vendor list on a maybe quarterly basis, mid-year basis. Call your list of vendors and remind them, and if they don't know that they're on your list, you've got to let your vendors know that they are on your list, that you work by referral, that are they accepting new clients? Sometimes people are so busy, and then your referral, they call your referral and they say, oh, I can't help you. That doesn't make you look good. So we've got to constantly qualify our vendor list too, and make it purposeful and let them know that they are on your referral list and you work by referral. And they may know a ton of agents, but if you ever know of someone that might be a good fit for me, I would appreciate your referral. asking your vendors for referrals as well. And there's some, there's some industries that lend better than others. I mean, we all know a lot of realtors, right? But a roofer may never get a thank you card from an agent, right? They may never get asked the question about referrals from an agent. So I think that's a missed opportunity there.
Absolutely. I sent thank you cards to my inspector and he is giddy. Like nobody ever says thank you to the inspector.
Yes. And those are people that will think of you. They may know people all over the metro, they may know realtors all over, but if they have that client or a friend that's looking to buy in Fort Worth and they have, a bunch of kids and they think, let them know, hey, I love working with families buying their first home. I love working out in the country. I work all over, but I really I love helping people get their houses ready to sell. Tell people why you love what you do, and they'll remember you in those situations. Great, 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 great. Thoughts? Any other thoughts?
My other thought sorry, I think a lot, that is you could even do 2 note cards before that said, thinking of you, thinking of you. So it's like you sort of hype, hey, I'm thinking of you. So I'm sending you a scripture, or I'm sending you, Debbie Godfrey was like, hey, get these little bookmarks and send those. So you can just write it. Like
you're kind of like prepping it. Like you're saying those words, like I'm thinking of you. And then you switch it to think of me. And that's kind of going back to what's the Gary Vee book that I love. Value, 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 ask for the business. Jab, 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 right hook, right? Value, 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 then ask for the business. It's a lot easier to ask for the business or tell them to think of me when you're thinking of them, right? When you're serving and providing value to them all the time. So I think that's so good. Any other win stories that you guys want to share, or ways that ways that you asked for the business that you were like, dang, why don't I do that all the time? Because that was easy. And I think about it too much and I make it harder than it needs to be. None? I know you guys have them. I think it's just because I'm putting you on the spot.
So I'll share one story. I have all of these Amazon boxes and Walmart.com boxes and Target boxes because I'm never able to go shopping. So everything gets delivered to my door. And so I will post those in our little community groups. Hey, who needs boxes, blah, blah, blah. And if they're moving, especially to a rental, it opens up the conversation because when they pick them up, they see all my realtor signs in my garage. And they're like, oh, you're a realtor. Oh, yeah. Where are you moving to? So that's just a natural conversation. And I actually got a listing off of somebody who wanted boxes and asked if I could bring them to her house.
Yep.
I'm like,
I used to take boxes. Yeah, I used to post pictures about it. I said, one of my services I'm a really avid shopper on Amazon. So one of my services as your realtor is to bring you boxes to your front door. And I would drop off boxes because I feel so guilty about all those dang boxes, right? Like
I've done that with diaper boxes too.
Oh yeah, those are good because they have the handle holes, right? But I think that's if you have a bunch of boxes, just throwing it out there, who needs them, and then starting that conversation of moving is easy. Love that. Boxes for moving. Save them. Save them, save them. Okay, so let's all share real fast. What is one thing that one of these ideas, okay? We talked about a lot of them, but one idea that you really actually want to go for. We talked about the client feedback survey after close. We talked about, I guess, here's one more idea too. And I told this one that I heard this one in a Buffini community group. So these are, the pro Buffini people. And this one lady said she just committed to herself that regardless of who it was, she was just going to ask for referrals. Like no matter what, just say, hey, do you know anybody, do you have anybody that you could refer to me for real estate? And she, instead of overthinking it, she asked any soul that came in her area, 5-foot area. And she said that she just created a habit of doing that for a month. Commit yourself to for a month of just, if you talk to the lady at the grocery store, or you talk to the person that comes to your door to sell you something, the Amazon driver, everybody, people that you'll never see again. Why are we not just like throwing it out there, right? Like, because we're never going to see them again. So if they think you're a weirdo, who cares? So she just did that to everybody, and she tracked how many transactions she actually got from that. And it was a good amount, guys. She was like, I was able to serve people I would have never even thought of, because I just asked everybody and I didn't make a big deal of it. So I really love that idea has always stuck with me.
So Gina, I have this friend, I call her Crazy Deb because God bless her, but she told me one time, she says, Mama said, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yep.
And I kind of just live by that with my business. So
I love that. No, that's so true. If I'm going to write that, you don't ask, you don't get. And it's,
yeah, but Mama said,
if you don't ask for it, you're not going to get it. Right. And I think that's a life lesson right there. I mean, yes, referrals, but in life, like there's so many things that we're afraid to ask for, or even just say out loud, that sometimes if you do, there might be someone that can actually make it happen for you. Right. So I think that's a great point, Shanae. But going back to, we've got about 5 minutes left, but maybe in the chat, if you're not doing Menti, that's fine. But just kind of share what you guys are what idea here are you going to try to really focus on for August? Asking your vendors for referrals. Think of me, note cards.
No, I think I'm really I just thought about an instance where I was walking into a store and there was a girl there doing, gathering donations for, the drug awareness thing. I can't remember what the little anagram is for it. But anyway, so I started chatting with her, and she was just like this real little firecracker. And we hit it off, and she was younger, and I told her I was a realtor, and oh, I'd like to buy a house someday. I was talking to my parents, blah, blah. I whipped out a card so fast, and I was like, normally I'm just will just chat, but I'm making a point now, because so often I'm like, oh, I don't have a card on me, because I think I'm not doing anything real estate related. I'm not in the office. I'm not with clients. And so maybe I leave it in the car. I'm making a point to keep my cards on me at all times now. And so I think she was very interested, and she's actually texted me. So I think for me, mine is going to be the asking anyone and everyone, and just making sure that I'm, giving my card to people and chatting it up.
I love that. I really want to track these for you guys, because I think it's nice to, hold on a second. So many ways. Since nobody wants to do my Menti thing, that's okay. I did add a slide. What do you guys want to do this month? So Leslie, you're going to do, I'm going to call it everyone and anyone. Please refer me. Just saying, please refer me, think of me, etc.
And I think that's probably been the hardest thing for me from the get-go, because I'm not a super salesy person. I don't like salespeople, so I feel pushy, and so I've got to get beyond that.
Have you listened to the podcast?
Yeah, not yet, but I will.
No, not this podcast.
It's a Buffini one, or
yeah.
Hey Leslie. What my oldest daughter, not the two that y'all see running around and coming and hugging me, she's been in sales for 10 years, and she got into real estate last year. She's already had 16 transactions this year.
Wow.
And she does keep her card in her purse, but she loves the pop buy themes. So she'll keep her card, or she'll keep little pop buys attached her card. So when she even goes to the drive-through at Chick-fil-A, they'll get like a little, her business card and a little pop by, like a hand sanitizer or something like that, that she gives out when she's given her card. It's just, I'm not good at that. She is really good, but she has 10 years experience. I have 2. And I wasn't
like that because I usually just do the pop buys for, you know, the people in my sphere, my database, my past clients, and I will leave a bunch in my car. So that way, if I'm out and about, you know, I can pull up my Buffini app and see who's around me and go drop one if I have a few minutes.
Yeah.
But I like that idea, like you said, like a Chick-fil-A or grocery store or whatever. That's a cute idea.
The chocolate or something in it, you know, like a Dove chocolate.
Nothing that melts in your purse.
Yeah, nothing that melts in your purse.
But something little is great to always keep with you for those situations of, you know, just wanting to remind somebody. And if you guys are someone that maybe never has cards and that pop, I also think it's another reason to have a place for them to go on social media to follow you. Hey, are you on social? You know, grab out your phone and follow me real quick and we can connect that way. I'd love to just stay connected with you. It feels a little creepy to some people, but it's very normal, especially if you're talking to a younger person. I appreciate that more than a business card. If we get connected on social media and then I see your stuff and I don't have to like throw away your card when I get home. You know, I just can already be connected with you. Because what's on our cards? Follow me at blah, blah, blah. So I might as well just follow them immediately. So just my 2 cents as the millennial of the group.
Could you make that a QR on your card? Like, oh,
yes.
hey,
Yes.
just click, you know, do this and follow me.
Guys, you know how to make you Google free QR code. I happen to use, it should pop up the one I use. I think it's this one, QR code generator. You can make a free one if it never changes, which your handle on social media shouldn't change. But if you want an account, then you can like track things. But like literally I can go to Facebook, Growing with Goals, ORT. So this is the Growing with Goals group. So you just take the URL from your Facebook, you type it there, linking to social media, combine them all with our social media QR code. Okay. How do I do that? Display on Facebook button. Anyways, if you guys scan that code right there, you'll go to the group. So it's really that easy to make a QR code and you just download it and it just doesn't change. It just like always stays the same. So you can do that. That's how you make QR codes. You can do it with your contact information, go to an email, text message, anything. QR codes, you know, they just really changed our life. Okay, so Jen is going to do think of me note cards. Is that correct? Anybody else want to stay accountable to something you're going to do out of all of our ideas? Karen is going to do think of me, think of you. I like that. I'm going to say series because you're going to do it like step by step. Same here. Debbie, you're going to do the think of me. Note cards. Pierre, are you going to do treat me like a stranger? Silence. Yes.
I was thinking the think of me vendor, and I don't know about the stranger one.
So Debbie also said ask everyone and anyone. So you and Pierre.
I was going to start asking. I wasn't going to make that my like big one.
But I'm just documenting it because when it's documented, it's real, Debbie. So
all right, I'm just saying.
No deadlines or anything, but at least we're putting it out there in the universe. So Pierre, you liked the vendor, like asking vendors, qualifying your vendors. I'm making up what you're going to do.
Okay.
Sorry, just joking, Pierre. He's never going to come back. He's like, that girl is bossy. And another thing, so we're wrapping up. It's 10:02, guys. If you guys are new and want to stay on and talk a little bit, ask me questions, or if you need anything that I showed you. In this presentation that I created, it's for my class that I'm actually going to teach in October again. I have vendor lists in here as well. And I did it in PowerPoint so you guys can edit this. But the idea behind the vendor lists are very important. If you don't have your vendor list somewhere, that's like the first step of getting your ducks in a row, is because you need it on paper. This is like top priority. Like when you go to an inspection, you know, the red flags that you got to move quickly on, having your list of people, because your client's going to look at you like, okay, who's your electrician, right? Or who's your plumber? And you don't want to just give them one, right? Don't ever give them one, because you don't ever want it to come back on you. But giving them a list, we sometimes overhelp and we do too much for our clients, and that's what gets us in trouble. So giving them a list and making them call them and pick the one they want is so important. But having that list ready is even more important. And so I have, you know, home inspection, mortgage lenders, different little templates that you could put their logos in like there. And then even the client testimonial graphics like Debbie was talking about. I created this before I knew about Canva sharing. So I feel like these testimonial graphics probably could be in a Canva template for everybody, so that you can at least just take it and run. Actually, a lot of this could be in Canva. So I'll work to get it over there. But I'll share this with you guys as well. Put your email in the chat if you guys want me to send you this stuff. I know a lot of you already have it, but I'll send you the seller and the buyer one. And it actually has the buyer questionnaire that I showed you guys and the satisfaction. It's in this one too. I just created one that was just satisfaction for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe because I like having to edit things all different places. Who knows? Just joking. I don't. It's just simple. All right, guys. Any other thoughts, questions? Was this helpful? Heidi, what do you think? You're just taking it all in. Heidi and Janelle, my newbies.
Okay. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. No, it was great because I'm actually in the process of doing some other marketing stuff right now. That's what I've been dealing with on the phone. And I just sent him, I was like, we've been talking about the QR code, and I'm like, here's the free one. Let's use it. I was like, there you go.
There you go. Go figure it out for me.
Oh yeah. He offered to do my business card. So I was like, okay, here, I want this, this, and this. And so no, but the referral thing, which I do talk to everybody about it, but I like have a little gift thing. And so like, if I can get some more ideas of what I can kind of keep stored in my car, that would be good. And just all the documents you were showing there, that's good to have too.
Very good. Yes, I will send those to you guys. And yeah, car pop buys in Texas is a challenge just because most things, even like plastic, can melt, in our cars. So that's the hard part. I've had dog treats in my cars. When I bought a car, I gave all the guys, I said, who has a dog? And I gave them all little bags of dog treats with my contact information on them. And we have a pop buy tag for that. Frisbees are kind of fun. Those are hard. Like I'm thinking summertime type things that are hot in the summer. You'd want to avoid food. Getting something, I know I'm not real big on like spending $1 bajillion on like marketing stuff that you have to buy 1,000 of a pen, because, you'll have them forever. But sometimes there's some good items that you can buy, like koozies. I made a koozie once that said, I heart my realtor, and my team's contact information was on the other side. And I think I found some place that only made me, no, I take that back. We had koozies forever. But it's something a little cheaper, and you can use koozies forever, you know, and you can always have them tucked in something, and then you don't even need a tag or your information, because if you put it on there, that's a great summertime one.
Mhm.
But pop by group too. I think Heidi, you're in the pop by group, aren't you?
I have been, yeah.
Yeah. We should talk about like car pop buys, but August 26th is going to be the fall pop by class. So save the day. August 26th is going to be my pop by class at 10 o'clock, and then the working by referral class at noon. So anybody, you know, that it's really good too for people kind of jumping in goals, because you kind of hear our language and we're talking about different things, and we kind of review it deeper in that class. So if you know of anybody, it's a really good class to do. And I believe it's already out there to register for pop by and the working by referral class.
Are you guys, oh, hold on, my still on there. Are you guys going to do any live classes, or are you just always going to be Zoom?
In person?
Yeah.
So we're kind of letting the sales team will be more in person. Rachel does some, I'm actually going to talk to the sales teams about, especially for the pop by class, because those were the fun classes we got together to do. We have the idea of kind of that hybrid style where, because a lot of the sales team, they don't want to, they don't have the passion for pop buys like I might over here. And like being able to explain it and have the experience, like I've actually done these, I'm not just telling you to do them. So we're kind of have the idea, those pop by classes are always like 20 minutes of me explaining pop buys. And then, so if you watched it in person together, and then the last half of the class could be you guys making them together. So I think that's a fun idea. Or even doing, I've told them to do follow-up, like maybe 2 weeks after the class, when you go buy your items, then you guys do a power hour of making your pop buys for the fall. So you guys have them done and ready to go. I've done virtual power hours where we make the pop buys. It kind of turns into another class because people ask me questions, but it's just for you to have that dedicated time to get them done. So we got some ideas like that. Me personally, because of my new role, I'm not so much going to be in person anymore because I am all over Texas now. And so it's just a little different. The salespeople will be in person. And then going in the future, there might be some bigger events that we do where it's like the whole DFW or half, something like that, where I am in person, but it will be a little bit different.
Okay.
So, yeah. Where are you at, Heidi? You're in South Lake?
No, I'm at the South Lake office, but I live in Roanoke.
Okay. And do you know Rachel? She's usually on this class, but you do know Rachel, right? Yeah. So if she ever has classes, you'll know about them.
Okay. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Anything else, Janelle? Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I did. I took lots of notes.
Ooh, I love notes. Okay, good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad it was helpful, and yeah, it's a good group.
Yeah, I'm glad I texted you yesterday because I didn't know it was today. I was like, oh, it's perfect.
Sorry about that. That was probably
that's okay.
Call. But no, I was gonna I got the email out yesterday right when you text, and I was like, oh, let me forward it to you real fast. So if you want those emails regularly, if you want to be on our opt-in list, let me send you the link real fast. I have a new little opt-in link that we're going to be using on the website, and it kind of just helps us make sure everybody that wants the emails gets them.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to put that in the chat real fast. All right, guys. Well, have a great rest of your week. I hope this filled you up with some energy and some good juju to be able to get some of these ideas done. And let me know if you need anything else. Those of you that shared your email in the chat, I will send you an email right now, and I'll put the opt-in link as well and those 2 presentations that you saw me show for buyers and sellers. And like I said, that class, I really go deep on how to use that and present all that stuff. And I do a class on that, and that will be in October when we do our business planning class again as well. Some of my favorite. Here's the opt-in. And this is an opt-in list for goals, all things monthly content, and then also our webinar emails, invites.
How do I find the Canva sharing link?
Yes. So if that email that I forwarded you
Uh-huh.
has the links in it, I know I kind of showed that really quickly because my email was moving.
No, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, my email was moving slow, but here in that email that I forwarded you, I always just kind of remind you what the topic is this week. And then if you scroll down, here's the Zoom link, here's the Facebook link, here's the tracker to have.
You're not sharing on your screen.
Oh, thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
I'm new,
I gotta tell you.
I'm new to Zoom. Okay, here we go. So it's always just a little bit the day, it's a reminder the night before, the date, what we talk about, an inspirational quote. Then we got the Zoom link, Facebook link. Here is the tracker for the goals regulars. So if you want me to add a page for you, I will. Here's the Buffini podcast recommendation for the month. And then the goals planner and generic action tracker. And then down here, if you just want the worksheet to print out, here's just the PDF for you to be able to print this on paper. Or if you want if you like Canva, but you don't want to be in our group one, you can click on that link and it's a template that you can open up in your own Canva.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Gina, I've been meaning to ask you a question. On the generic trackers, can you send me those, your Canva deal or however you made them, where they're editable? Because I want to add some more lines to a section.
To a section. Unfortunately, all of my goals stuff is in PicMonkey, and PicMonkey is not shareable. That's why I've migrated to Canva.
Oh, okay. Because
So
I have PicMonkey, but it won't let you do it.
Well, if you know how, it's not the same as Canva. That's why I moved, because sharing things is not the same in PicMonkey at all. It's horrible. There's so many glitches. If you tell me what it is, I can and I was going to print them today. I'm actually going to Alliance, so I was going to print a few. And who's on here? Adrienne already has hers. Karen, Debbie, Leslie, I think already has hers. If Heidi and Janelle, I'll offer it to you as well. If you want me to print you an end of year goals planner, if you will use it, yeah, letter size. So you just kind of get a binder or something to put it in. I'm going up to that office today so I can go print them real fast and have them for you guys.
Can I throw out an idea for next year's?
Yes, I'm taking ideas.
So I like to use an hourly planner so I can time block. That's it.
I actually have a time blocking page for the small. Do you have the small journal? The big one?
I have the big one.
So have you seen in email? It may not be in this.
I can show it. Is it this?
That Karen has an old one. That's an old one.
Yeah. Sorry, but I love it.
Yeah. So I actually have time blocking. We have a generic one for the month. Hold on. And it's actually in the all things email. Every single month it's in the all things email. Sorry.
Okay.
It always feels a little weird showing you my email, but just don't look at anything. So, oh, and this is when you forward the email, it's horrible. But in here, this generic time blocking. Oh my gosh. Look in the all things email, Adrienne, and there's a generic time blocking for an ORT one for the whole month.
I'll take a look. Thank you.
Yep. And then we did have one for PicMonkey, but it wasn't as big as the one for the whole month. It was more on a daily basis. So here, guys, is everything that you've ever seen me do with goals. And I'll show you the time blocking one, the old one. Do you guys remember when it was all gold? Time blocking. Oh, this one, Power Day. We call it Power Days. So do you like this, Adrian? Because I can send you this to print out. And this would be like one for each day. The one that ORT made is like a whole month. So from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
I've already adjusted another planner for this year. I was just thinking ahead for next year.
Oh, okay, you're like,
I'm good for this year. Thank you.
okay, good. All right, so that's good to know.
I like
you guys,
that though.
yeah, the fact that you guys like the Power Day, like kind of time blocking, is good to know too. Shanae, which one were you talking about? Which one were you?
So I pulled it up here, look, and just proof that I actually do use this thing. So can you see? I'm in my car.
Yep.
So this is notes.
This one.
Supposed to be what's face to face, and then pop bots, 10 pop bots.
Mhm.
Well, I'm using this section for referrals. So like if somebody refers somebody to me, like I've already had 7 this month that I've tracked. There's not really a place there, on, because I feel like I have 2 of our, like an old one and a new one, because I really like the colorfulness of this guy.
Yeah.
So I feel like I have them combined, right? Like I have 2 different versions combined.
Okay, so on that page, you guys should have, maybe I got rid of it because it's right here. Like I see something that says referral, who referred, but there's only 3 spots.
Right. There's not enough spots. I fill those up very quickly.
Do you want one that's just referrals?
Yes, please.
It'd probably be easier just to create one that's just referrals versus changing this one.
Yeah, I know. I'm not asking you to change it. I'm just saying, like I'm trying to figure out how to integrate it into what all I have going on here.
Yeah.
I will tell you that this, where's it at? One, I need to know the weight of the paper that you use, because if I need to start printing them myself, I like your paper better. It holds up. That's why I want you to print
On the I'm going to print it today. The tiny one?
No, I use the bigger ones.
Oh,
But
okay.
this one right here,
It's
so
32-pound paper, and you can't really find it anywhere. I have to order it online. I've tried to go to Staples, Office Max, and they just, for whatever reason, they just don't have it, which seems really strange. Sometimes FedExes have it. So if you ever need to print extra pages, so that you know, it's 32 pounds.
Okay, so I really like this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't used it this month, but the past months I have been really diligent in using it at least 75% of the time.
The habit tracker?
Yes.
I know. I'm about to pull out my habit tracker because I need to do yoga. Like my body hurts so bad. But I'm also like saying it's because I had surgery. You can't really do stuff when you have surgery, but now my body is like crunchy. Like it feels like it's hard. Like I need to move again. So I'm going to do yoga in August.
Get it, girl. But you've also been camping, and that's a workout.
True, Shanae, true. We do a lot of kayaking too. I think I did it a little too much, but yeah, but just, you know, like stretching.
Well, but I've had a headache since April.
Oh, well, that's
so I've been, yeah. And so I haven't been able to work out at all sorry, I'm trying to get my dog legal.
You're good. You're good. Okay, guys, we got to go so I can make all these dang journals again. No, just joking. But I'm going to go drop them off. I'll let you know. Heidi, I'll drop one off for you as well. I'm so glad you came. You guys, do you know where our Alliance office is? Yep.
Out my back door. Come see me.
Yeah. Very good. And Pierre, you're still here.
Yes, Gina.
How's it going?
So
what do you think?
Here's your pen.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
I mean, you know, all things being considered, I'm blessed.
Oh, yeah. Me too. All right. Well, let us know if you need anything. I know we're talking like the journals now. So if you're interested, we have a 1-page tracker, and there's some that are not girly. A 1-page tracker to kind of get started if you were, and it goes out in our email every single month. And it's the one that Shanae was showing. And it's just kind of a simple version versus having a big journal, just to be able to track the things that we're talking about like the, you know, the your action tracker.
Understand.
Yep. So
Accountability is big. I get you.
yep,
So.
it sure is. And where are you at, Pierre? What part of town?
I reside in Alamo Ranch, but I'm at Kimberly Howe Properties. So
Wait. What city?
San Antonio.
Oh, because you just said areas that I was like, I don't know those areas. So that's awesome. I'm so glad that we've got someone from, or you checked us out from down there. Most of us are from DFW because that's kind of where the group started, but we have a few people from the Houston or San Antonio area check in now that I do education down there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're here, and you guys have a great rest of your week. Heidi, I should be going there around lunchtime. So I'm going to go print them off real fast. All right.